Hello, I'm back again. I what was that? Hello, I am Bookface, and I mixed up my intro with my script. So I was gonna say, it's back again. Series 2 stubborn to die, much like myself. Zombies. Zombies just keep getting weirder and weirder. But to my shock, I actually found some pretty good ones for this video. I kind of thought this series might continue and it would just be a bunch of really obscure, I guess I can call this a zombie. But no, these are all pretty straightforward. Most of them. They're just a lot more like a zombie than I thought they'd be. And shockingly enough, I even have pronunciations for most of them, even if those pronunciations are a little weirder than I can make up. So, yeah, plenty more zombie videos to come, I suppose. With all that out of the way, let's jump right in. Woo! First up, we have the Craquehhe, a zombie from Lorraine, France. Not just from France, specifically this area, Lorraine. Also, the pronunciation guide says it's pronounced as Craquehhe because French is a stupid language. There is no L in this word. How do you get Craquehhe? My dog does not care about my language angers. My languors. That doesn't work. These creatures were virtually unstoppable and immune to pain.
He doesn't go down, he's a Terminator!
Yes, that is a very specific clip, thank you for noticing. It was believed to form when a person dies unbaptized. They were incredibly strong, had wax-white skin, sunken eyes, greasy hair with clods of dirt and maggots, and their fingers were usually ripped and torn from digging out of the grave. They were also incredibly strong, capable of moving no matter how mutilated or decayed they were.
'Tis but a scratch. Just a flesh wound.
I'll bite your legs off!
They would eat flesh and drink blood. They would keep eating until their whole stomach was full. They would not stop. If they could, I'm pretty sure they would eat every last bit of you, but only got so big a stomach. In order to kill this creature, several people would have to hold it down and burn it to ash. Real stubborn, this one. You would need a whole mob of people, with consecrated weapons, sharp sticks, and torches. You need a full-on angry mob, pitchforks and everything. And if even the smallest little piece wasn't burned, then it would keep attacking. Very stubborn zombie. Just like a pinky left, and it's like, I'll kill ya. Most dangerous pinky. And if it was instead attempted to bury the creature, then it would infect the ground and create even more Craquehhe. Great, now everyone's stubborn. What is this, YouTube comments? Next up, we have the Ovengua. The pronunciation guide was a little confusing for this one, which is a creature from Guinea. This creature would come from an evil sorcerer dying. Evil in life, evil in death. Why are all these corpses being so stubborn? Just be a corpse. The bones of the Ovengua would escape the grave one by one and gather back up. And I'm just like, did they just sort of float? Did they have to dig their way out? Did they just waddle along? And somebody's like, hey, why is that? What's that bone just walking down the road? Someone's like, is that a bad joke? No, there's a bone walking down the road. And these bones would gather in a secret location. Why am I just imagining a little stick fort out in the woods that says Fort Ovengua, no girls allowed? Guess secret password. Once the Ovengua is back alive, sort of, it would move through the forest and attack travelers at night, and would eat the people that it catches. And by the day, it would live in caves. So, honestly, with how many creatures target lone travelers, I'm starting to think that mythology just hates tourists. Which, fair, but still. It was thought that it could be killed by being attacked by a lot of spears, and it must be burned completely to ash or it'll just come back. Another angry mob, another total incineration, some oddly similar details between these two. I mean, I guess this is something I hadn't really thought of. I'm just thinking about it now. But, the French had a huge effect on Africa, which just means that the French colonized a lot of Africa. So it would make sense that there's a lot of French influence in Africa. So a thought process for this, though I don't know if it's accurate, could be that both of these legends existed in some manner with separate but kind of similar details. And then with the whole crossover in history, unfortunate crossover, the two began to share similar details. Purely theoretical, it could just be that people don't like zombies. I don't know, but that's something to think about. Lastly, we have the Aipalookvik, or Aipalookvik. This was the one that had no pronunciation guide. Literally just about everything else in the book I got had a pronunciation guide, except this one. I don't know why. So this one's a little different. Aipalookvik was actually a god. I'm pretty sure the term is Tunugite, which, when contextualized, seems to be more like a really powerful, semi-deified nature spirit, kind of like the Japanese kami. Technically godlike, but not exactly a god by, Greek standards. So it's a bit confusing, and honestly just a a bit pedantic, but it's also important to be accurate. But it was a Tunugate of the dead along with Anguta. Anguta was sort of seen as like a good, positive figure, while Aipalookvik was very evil. They were mostly a threat to fishermen, which just solidifies in my knowledge that, according to worldwide myth, fishing is like the most dangerous profession ever. Hope you like the seafood. I almost was seafood. You know how many sea monsters there are? I mean, I guess that makes sense. There were a lot of risks that came with, fishing and going out on the ocean, especially with, not the advanced tools that most people have modern day. So I guess that's probably just a way they would explain why so many people die in the ocean, and also probably make them be more cautious. Man, I'm just overthinking all my jokes in this video and actually coming to reasonable conclusions. What is this? This ain't a TED Talk. This is a me talk. Aipalookvik was Aipalookvik existed as a spirit that would possess the bodies of the dead. So kind of zombie-esque, but also technically kind of not, since it's not the dead coming back. It's a spirit possessing the dead and coming back, but I've seen plenty of people classify Vitala as zombies, and it's the same thing there, so I'm going with it. Plus, I just really wanted to draw this thing. That's the long and short of it. I honestly got this video out much quicker just because I drew the Aipalookvik, and I'm like, that's some good art. I want to show it off. So, yeah, look at that. Look at that. And it was thought that it would actually drain the victim of their body heat. Not blood, not fat, body heat. And this is also part of the reason I was interested. A little nerd reference here. I especially wanted to draw this because there's a creature from the show Grimm that works very much like this. And it was basically a creature they made up, but hey, this was an option. They could have gone with this. And I guess after draining people of the body heat, it would drag them to their death. I mean, depending on how much body heat you take, I feel like some of them would already be dead. If you are draining someone of their body heat in, like, a tundra, is it a tundra? Very frozen area, I feel like they're as good as dead anyways. Pulling them underwater just kind of seals the deal, I guess. And there we have 3 different kinds of mostly zombies. This was a fun one to do. It was interesting to draw, but also a little odd to draw, because aside from the Aipalookvik, which I had my own special idea on, with the first 2, I actually went through a very similar process of having to draw it from, like, the skeleton up, and deciding how much skeleton I want exposed underneath the skin. And with the similar details, I think that's just honestly fascinating. And then the Aipalookvik's just here like, I'm just cool. Heck yeah, because it's cold. It's always interesting talking about the zombie legends, because sometimes you see where modern zombie stuff gets it, but most of the time you really don't. Like, there are very few zombie anythings I have found that share many details with the modern zombie. Like, I think I've only found like 2 or 3 that even can infect another person, when like that is the staple of modern day zombie stuff. It's just interesting to see how much the legend has evolved into the pop culture thing that it is, and trying to figure out where it got that, because I honestly don't know. But that's a oddly deep question for another time. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!